Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to continue with the 100 Fantasy Heads challenge that I have set for myself. So let's go ahead and get right into the sketchbook and get going. Spoiler alert, I know how this sketching session turns out, and it's not good. So a little bit of backstory. Last month or so, I have been feeling really good about my drawing. Like, things have been coming beautifully and easily, and like sketches have turned out the way I wanted them to, and it was fantastic, and I was so happy, and I was very prolific in my sketchbook. Then I went on a little vacation to support my high school robotics team that I mentor at the World Championship, and I took my sketchbook with me with full intention of continuing to work in there. Unfortunately, I didn't really have the time or energy to put into working in my sketchbook because we were kind of at the competition all day and then had dinner and hung out with people. And by the time I got back to my room, it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I was drained, completely just socially drained, and wasn't really feeling like doing anything in my sketchbook at the time because I felt like if I did work in there, it was just too mentally taxing and my brain had been completely drained. So I took a few days off. It was probably like 4 or 5 days that I didn't sketch. So when I came back from Worlds, I pulled out my sketchbook. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get right back into this because I'm a little bit behind on my page count now because I'd taken a few days off. And everything I sketched was terrible. I had completely forgotten how to draw. Okay, I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I had completely lost the ability to draw. Everything was just kind of turning out wonky. I just wasn't able to get anything to turn out the way I wanted it to. And that's actually part of the reason why last week I didn't do any art in the video, is because I was just feeling like I couldn't do any art. I had just gotten back from Worlds and I just was feeling super rusty. So this whole last week, I have been trying to work on my sketchbook a little bit every day. It wasn't a whole lot because every time that I would sit down to draw, it would turn out terribly and I would get discouraged and I would put it down. But I was trying to do a little bit of something every day in order to kind of get back to a point where I felt like, okay, I've got this. I'm kind of back in the groove and everything is good. So I'm working on the sketching here, and apparently I'm not back in the groove just yet, and things just aren't coming out the way I want them to, and it kind of sucks. So we're going to go ahead and finish these sketches, and I'm going to keep trying to draw in my sketchbook, but I think I'm going to switch focus on what I'm going to draw for a little bit, so that I can kind of take the pressure off of drawing something good and just feel like, okay, I am just going to work on some of my fundamentals. I am going to be doing some studies and things like that in my sketchbook now, because right now, like, I feel like the communication between my mind and my hands is a little bit off. And if I work on kind of some basics, on some just like studies and things like that, I am not worried about making something that looks right and looks like really good, kind of a finished thing. I'm more worried about like kind of understanding some basics and trying to get some more things in my mental library, my shape library. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing for a little bit until I kind of get back into the groove. And I'm hoping that that will allow me to continue working in my sketchbook without feeling so discouraged, and will also help me get better and will also fill my sketchbook. My original thought was I was just going to keep trying to find different things to draw and keep pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward. But I just feel like that isn't working for me, and it is discouraging me more than anything else. If you guys have any tips and tricks to get over like these kinds of spans where all of a sudden you're just kind of out of the groove and you feel like you can't draw, I would love to hear them, and I'm sure other people would love to hear them as well. So please leave some comments down below. Let me know what sorts of things that you try. I currently don't want to take another break because that's what got me into this situation where I feel like I can't draw again. But I also don't want to push myself too hard and get myself to a point where I just give up and get into like an art block kind of a situation. So like I said, that's why I'm thinking about switching over to doing just kind of some basic studies and things like that, because I do enjoy doing studies, and I know that when I'm doing studies, things might look wonky, and that is expected because I'm doing a study. I'm learning something new, so it's not going to be perfect when I first start off. So I think that's going to make it a lot easier for me to kind of get back into that groove and get back to the point where I was a few weeks ago. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me draw terribly today, and I hope you guys realize that this is a very normal thing to happen. I think all artists go through phases like this where, for whatever reason, something happens, you kind of get out of the groove and drawings are going to turn out terribly. And I hope that and I hope that the strategy that I have put forward will help you, and I hope that other people have other strategies that they've put down below that could also help out. Please, feel free to take a break if that's what you need. I feel like that's not what I need right now, but don't push yourself so hard that you push yourself into burnout. I'm not feeling like that's where I'm going. I'm feeling like I just kind of need to take a step back and work on something that I don't necessarily care as much how it turns out. It's more of kind of a learning opportunity, and I think that that's going to really kind of help me just get back in tune so that like my brain and my hands are listening to one another and actually kind of working together instead of, my hands just doing whatever they want or my brain seeing something different or whatever is going on. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm going to show you these sketches again real quick. Like I said, I am not overly proud of them, and I just kind of gave up on this guy because it just wasn't turning out, and I decided that it was not worth continuing because it was just making me more and more discouraged. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next week. Bye.